Okay, what did we start with? That's what we're going to think about. So this one would have been a chain rule. So I'm going to test starting with this unit to the 6th degree. Okay, now we're going to derive this and see if we end up with that or not. So this would be 6 of those units to the 5th times the derivative of the unit. Did we end up how we wanted to? Not quite. I have this in there, and this one has a 1 in there. So I'm going to have to put a multiplier in the front to deactivate the 72. So 1 over 72. Okay, can I get you to try the next one on your own then? See if you can go. So think about what you started with. So when I was testing, I started with my unit to the 10th degree. That was the test. Derived it. It almost matched to my result here, except for I had a 200, but they wanted a 3. So I did a deactivation of that number. Okay, does that make sense with the chain rule?
I would still have the x cubed on it.
Oh, yes. No. No, like there? Is that what you mean? No. Because this is what you're looking at. Just this. This is what I started with. Yeah. The x cubed comes when you start deriving it, and that's not what you were doing. And you can always check your answer, right? Derive this.
How does 3 over 200 give you 3x cubed? I was thinking you'd have to do whatever over 200 that gives you 3.
This is what my brain is thinking about. I ended up with a 200, but I will have to times it by something because I need to end up with a 3. So then I would divide. You can derive this. If you derive this equation right here, you should get that, right? And your brain can check your answer, right? Derive this, and you would get that. Okay, what do you think we started with for the next one? Anybody know what we would have maybe started with? I'm going to try that. A cos 7x to the 5th degree. You see why I'm picking that? Because I ended up with a cos 7x to the 4th degree, and obviously there's an attachment. Okay, forget the answer. We're going to actually just cover that up. Forget that for a second. Now I want you to derive this. So 5 of those units to the 4th times the derivative of cos 7x. So what is that, a negative sine 7x? But you still have to attach the derivative of 7x. Right? You got all your chains? Okay. Now I'm going to go back to what they had. Did we match? No, not quite. I have a negative 35 and they have a 1. So what would I multiply by to turn it into a 1? Negative 1/35. Okay, and remember, I'm always going back to my tester. This is my tester. That's what I'm thinking that I'm starting with. Number 4, the function would have been some kind of e function. So I'm going to test y equals e to the 3x squared. That's what I'm going to start with. Okay, again, forget the first part. Forget their work. Now that you have that tester, derive it. So e to the 3x squared times 6x. Okay, now I'm going to uncover it. Did we match? Not quite. I have a 6. What would I have to multiply it by to turn it into a 7? So in front of my tester, I need a 7/6. Okay, number 5, if I ended up with a fraction, what's your prediction on how I started? Which rule ends up with fractions in it? Which rule ends up with fractions, do you remember? The ln? Okay, so I'm going to test the ln of 6x squared plus 32x. So I have to kind of have these rules ready to go or understand them. So I'm going to cover that up now. Okay, let's derive this. So u prime over u. So 12x plus 32 over 6x squared plus 32x. Okay, now I'm going to uncover to see if I match. And I did not. So 12x plus 32 times what would have given me that top? Anybody know the number I would have to deactivate this with? A quarter. A quarter. So I need to throw a quarter in front of my tester now. a quarter of those ln. Okay, I'm noticing, what do you want me to do here? That's a chain rule, there's nothing new, a chain rule. Do you want me to do any more, or you want to try some on your own? There's another E1, those are the same. Do you want me, there's another trig one, it's the same. Trig one again, maybe? Let's do another trig one. Okay, so the trig one, what do you think you started with? Did you pick, oh, wait. No, that's wrong. Sine 3x. So I see a chain with a trig, right? Does that make sense to pick as a start? Sine 3x to the fifth? Because I ended up with somewhere in a sine 3x to the fourth is the ending. Good for a tester? Okay, then I'm going to cover my original. Okay, so derive this. 5 of those units to the fourth. Attach the derivative of a sine, so that's cos 3x. Attach the derivative of the 3x. Is what? Like that? Is that what you mean? Yeah. Okay, did we match? I had a 15. What would I have to multiply it by to end up as a 3? So you can write 3/15 or 1/5 in front.
So you could write
1/5. Yeah. I don't care what you do. Some people will probably just leave it like that because it's always like whatever they see divided by what they see. So it's good too.